Good morning, and welcome to the Noble Genetics channel. I'm excited to finally be getting on with the germination video. I've been promising a few people I would be doing it. Um, I kept postponing because I wanted to film it, and then I'd forget to film putting the seeds in the water, and then I needed to film transplanting, so I kept postponing. But I thought since I got this amazing microphone and camera that's busy filming this, sponsored for my Noble Network channel, I would get on with this video and just do a quick run through on my thoughts on germination. And then I will be following. You can do a grow along with me with this cross. Noble Genetics is doing all right. I was feeling a little bit weird with the traction I got with Noble Network in the crypto space after all the energy I've put towards Noble Genetics, Noble Extracts, and Noble Inputs. Um, it's difficult working in this space, especially in South Africa. Quality is not appreciated, quantity is what's being looked for. There's a handful of people, quite literally, when I say a handful, I mean a handful of people that have supported my brand and own NFTs and believe in what I'm trying to do with this plan. And it's not only crypto, it's not only cannabis. The NFT collection is combining worlds and bringing the cannabis space into the Web3 space and combining all those collections. Each of these, this one, this one, this one, and then my root hosting as well as Ezra Records. That's a little baby I've been working on for some time now. It's gonna all be part of the Noble network, and these tokens, once the final design is worked on, will be released and distributed to all NFT holders. I sold two in this last week after not selling one for over a year. So thank you to those that the three people technically that bought number 14 and number 10. Um, and I gave number 11 away to someone that held space for me and allowed me to do what I've done. I know it will be appreciated by him a lot more than some of the other people that received NFTs. Um, Enough about that. Let's get on with germination. I'm doing a crypto update later on. I shouldn't be talking about crypto. Cool. So moon phases. Many people understand that the moon affects water and thus living beings and plants and many other things in our life, both physically and energetically. Um, Many believe that you should plant on the full moon. I do not follow this thought process. I feel the full moon does affect the plant, but I feel putting a seed into water and starting its life when that effect is happening doesn't affect the plant, because you're drawing up water, you're increasing all of that. I won't go into that, but how's it changing anything if the seed's just a seed? So I plant on the new moon, roughly 2 weeks before the full moon, and that allows for the seed to imbibe its water, get started, and sprout in time for the full moon to have its full effect on that whole drawing water, increased energy, all that sort of thing. So that's my thought process on the moon phases. If you want to plant according to the lunar calendar, you can also look into biodynamic farming. That goes into a lot further details of when you want to plant, when you want to sprout, when you want to transplant, when you want to clone, when you want to harvest. Goes very deep. I can get 90-95% germination rates on most of my seeds regardless of the moon phase, but I have noticed an effect when going according to the lunar calendar. You can't dispute that. Then the next thing is seed orientation. So the seeds have a little dimple. This camera is good, but it's not going to be that good. Let's see if I can. Wait, no, yeah. So there's a dimple, and then there's a pointy side on the top and the bottom of a seed, right? So we've always been taught, like if you have been taught, that the pointy side goes up. And the common theory is that because the taproot comes out at a sort of slight angle and then turns around. Now, many people argue that no, if you plant it this way, it still comes up. So that is correct because the root does not turn around. The root grows opposite to gravity. Um, all these things play a role. Moon, gravity, see how it all connects somehow. But the root will grow opposite to gravity. The reason why you plant it the correct way around, if you really want to do things properly, you can. If you're planting 1,000 seeds, fuck man, throw minis. But if you want to do things properly, if you've paid a pretty penny for your seeds and you don't feel like going and doing surgery on a bunch of soldiers, meaning that your seeds come up with a bunch of helmets on them because you planted the seed the wrong way around. So what happens is, I drew a picture for this scenario. So when you plant your seed, where the fuck, this is weird. When you plant the seed, I like to go in at an angle just like that in the soil. And the rule of thumb is to plant double the seed's depth. I sometimes go a little deeper because I don't mind waiting an extra day or two for germination, and it allows for a nice strong base. So the idea is you can plant it anywhere around, and the root will grow opposite to gravity, and you will probably get a plant if the seed has enough chutzpah to get through. Now the thought is, right, if you plant it like this root is going to come out that way, turn around, and when the plant pulls out of the seed, because it's going to, once it sets root and has a strong enough root to set, to push the leaves out and sprout, it pulls out of that seed, and that seed actually opens up slightly on the one side like that, and then lodges into, so this side stays closed, and then that side sort of cracks open like that, and then the seed pulls out, and the seed will lodge into the soil, allow for a nice clean birth of your seed out of the soil. Now, you could plant it this way around slightly, and that taproot is going to go that way around and down. And then when it pushes out the soil, the closed side of the seed is going to be pushing up, and you're going to get a soldier. So it's quite specific in like, you can get really anal about it. I sometimes do. I sometimes just leave it, depending on cost of seed as well as how many I have available. Then your medium. Jiffy Cubes have produced some of the best results I've had in terms of emergence rates. But I have found that there's a lack of nutrition in the Jiffy Cubes if you soak in them with RO water, especially. So soak with a seed treatment solution. I'll talk on that a little bit later. It just gives the plant a little bit more nutrients and things to start life off well with beneficials and prebiotics. Wintering seeds, medium, yeah, Jiffy Cubes. I like to use a mix I made using cocoa and sifted old soil with a little bit of worm castings as a food source. This allows that there's no big particles to block seed growth, and then it's a nice good base to start a natural seed run. Wintering seeds. So this is something I've not heard much about. I have heard about it. That's how I learned about it. I think it was probably on Future Cannabis Project first, or no, it was James Loud, I think. That you've got to put your seeds after drying them, shucking, drying, harvesting, whatever. After you've sorted that process out, put them in a fridge for 2 weeks to a month at least, in a constant temperature, not in the door where it's going hot, cold, but a constant cool temperature, very dry. Make sure it's dry. Use rice. You can see I use rice or silica packs when I have them available. This, you've got to think of how plants evolve. Same with hermaphrodite issues and things like that. The plants evolved with an intelligence that we don't even comprehend. We think plants don't have intelligence. They know that should they fall from their mother and moisture arise, and they sprout before a cold period, they will most likely die throughout the winter before spring. This is how the evolution allowed for the ones that did that to continue life, and the ones that sprouted early to die. and thus it developed an intelligence. Intelligence is different to how most people think of it, but I won't go into that. But yeah, winter your seeds, you'd be surprised, depending on the genetic as well as the environment it involved in. If it involved in the middle of Africa, where there wasn't a cold season after a normal season, to kill a seed through cold, might have been drought, but through cold, it wouldn't die. So they might not need to be wintered. You just need to dry them properly and bring them back to life. Also, bring it out of the fridge into the warmer weather helps your germination rate, because it allows the seed to be like, okay, things are warming up and there's a bit of water. So then, on to the next thing, imbibing water. This is vital. No matter what is inside the seed, no matter how much nutrients, no matter how much food, no matter how much vigor that seed has to live, if its seed shell does not allow water to get through it, it will not germinate. This is known as imbibing. You imbibe the seed with water. I've had seeds, the crimson candy namely, that would not germinate unless you scuff the seed. Now, you only know that after you're used to a 90% germ rate and then you get a 10% germ rate. I scuff the seed back to 90. So it's something you could do just as a precautionary measure. Just scuff the seeds. I'll sometimes do it on a brick or with a bit of sandpaper or file if you want to be proper. What I like to do is on the seam that cracks, you can look at a seed if you know what a seed looks like and how it grows. You know which seam is going to be the one that cracks. I like to sand that off a little bit just to help the process go along further. I don't often do that, but I have noticed it's necessary in some genetics. Some seed mothers just have a very tough shell. Then methods, you can go straight to soil. That's one thing. I enjoy that. It really gives me a show of what seeds can survive and successfully emerge. It's something I do when I've got thousands of seeds and I want to just pop a whole lot of them. I do prefer doing a water soak at least for like 12 hours. Never soak for more than 36 to 48 hours. You will drown your seeds. And if you do a longer soak, go into a drier medium. Don't go from a long soak into a wet medium. There's not enough oxygen that root will die. I like to put my seeds in the evening into some water, and then the next morning, like I will plant them out if it's not a main run. You could do a paper towel method where you put the seeds straight into paper towels. The only thing I have to say with that is don't let the root get too long. Those roots have very sensitive little hairs and things if you look under a scope. Those bind to that paper towel and then you pull it out and kill and hurt and stress that seedling. So mine, I call it the full Monty. I do a water soak, possibly with some seed treatment solution, which is a mixture of Korean natural farming inputs that include oriental herbal nutrients, fermented fruit juice, water-soluble calcium, lactic acid bacteria, I'm not sure, maybe some salt water, seawater, salt water. And this just gives the seed everything it needs to start out. Additionally, if you're worried about the source of the seeds and how they were stored or the health and what pathogens the mother might have carried, soak your seeds in a little bit of H2O2 solution. If you don't know how to work out your solution of H2O2 to water dilution, people in the cannabis game do not understand how that percent works. So please message me, don't overdo it and don't underdo it. Drop me a message to how to work out a nice H2O2 solution. So give your seeds a quick soak in that, and then you can go into a seed treatment solution or into some plain water. Then I do that in the evening. Then the next morning, I'll go through. With my genetics, often quite a few would have cracked the tap, just a little one. And those go then into the medium, little bit deeper than I would like to go, but I like to go a little deeper than rather too shallow. I've had tap roots pop out of soil because of that. And then whatever hasn't cracked yet, after 12 to 24 hours, goes into a paper towel. And every 6 or so hours, I check those, and anything that's slightly cracked before its taproot touches the paper towel, I take that out and I put it into soil at that right angle, and I close the soil off and keep it hydrated. I like to use a humidity dome if the seeds are imported. If I've bred them, I just plant them, and I've it's like 90% emergence rate. Germination and emergence rates is different, by the way. Germination is if the seed cracked. Successful emergence is a slightly different percentage, and a lot of people in the cannabis space confuse the two. Germination and emergence are not the same. I've had over 90% emergence successfully in a seedling tray outside in the sun, just making sure the medium stayed moist. Okay, then what's the next story? I think that's everything. Yeah, let's touch on what we're gonna be growing. Papaya colada across Afghan IBL. So through the crypto project, I got hold of slash someone got hold of me that was looking into the one project after I got given shit for smoking cannabis. It is my medicine. I'm not ashamed of it. I never will be ashamed of it. So he wants me to create a custom strain, mentioning that he enjoys Afghan and gelato. So I remembered the Afghan IBL mail I got from a friend of mine, which was from Spliff Seeds in Netherlands. I hit it to the papaya colada and the gelato X because they were what I had available at the time. And the prayer glue. Yeah, the prayer glue as well, I think. It was the prayer glue and the papaya colada. But the papaya colada is the one I've been most excited for, and I've been wanting to pop it. So the fact that this lovely gentleman gave me a reason to pop it, I'm so excited because papaya colada is Sunset Punch crossed biscotti, that one crossed with papaya. So like the hash potential plus flavor. So it's got dumping potential and a lot of flavor potential is going to be quite special. And then bred with Afghan IBL, it's going to be an interesting run. So I'll look. I've just planted a shitload of seeds that by accident germinated with the the roadkill pie F2 black dog cross roadkill cross apple pie OMF. I was shucking those seeds and I forgot a little in the tub. And then while I was doing a live, it rained. And I went outside and the whole tub was wet. So those seeds hadn't even been wintered, but most of them cracked and popped taps. So I planted probably about like 90 to 100 of them. And then the rest I just threw into my soil bin and covered it little. And if there's anything that stands out there, I'll probably transplant it. But I want to get these going. And I want to do a proper breeding one in a tent behind filters. I'm thinking of setting up my little tent for this. Doing my old school bonsai tech. I can fit 49 plants in a 0.8 meter tent and get a nug to smoke and enough seeds to run a next generation. This might take a little longer than expected, possibly by the potential client, but I don't mind. We're gonna make magic and release a custom genetic strain in America. Noble Extracts in collaboration in America. A custom strain. It's the potential's been there for any South African dispensaries, for anyone in South Africa, for any NFT holders. Buy an NFT, and depending on the class, you get more say in what happens. And I would happily breed lines for people. Right now, I'm just going through various profiles that have quite distinct differences, and I'm breeding them down the lines. And then that's my goal. Gonna make some true F1s. I was told I don't know what I'm talking about when I said I've never seen a true F1. If anyone knows of anyone, one person that took distinct different crosses through to F7 to F10 till they were a homogeneous line, genetically true breeding for whatever traits they were after, not necessarily all of the traits, but true breeding, and then created a true fucking F1. I mean, I mentioned to someone the other day why I lost so much respect in Keys to the Kingdom, and Jeff what's it, Jeff Salsa. He's he said that he's only ever made F1s, but he hypes himself up as like such a good breeder. But he's only ever released F1s. I never knew that. I had spent thousands on his seeds. I've made an F2 of his shit before he's ever made a fucking F2. And then he went on to say that he'll never, ever, ever breed with the Cookies line. But the line that he released to launch Keys to the Kingdom, called Maiden Voyage, was a runt crossed with an amazing East Coast Grateful Breath. Runts, Cookies, direct Cookies line, like owned by Cookies. I made some F2s of those. I've been deciding whether I want to work them or not because left a bad taste in my mouth. But that's it. Make sure to join a Real Talk later. I'm going to be doing some touching on some interesting projects in the crypto space. I would love to have more of the cannabis community involved in the crypto space. There's so much potential to build and develop and create something that we've never really had. I mean, I'm doing a video after my tea yesterday. I'm doing a video, not what is blockchain, but why blockchain. I'll be covering many of the aspects to it. I wish there was no money in blockchain. I fucking wish there was no fucking money, despite all the money I've made. And money I've lost. Because we could build so much better without that shit. And with that, thank you for watching. This is a little long, but that's my thoughts on Germination.